Okay, this is going to be the homework from 7-2. All right, number one. All right, number one was a picture of a line. It said negative x plus 1. So it's going to be the integral from 0 to 1 of negative x plus 1 quantity squared dx. And I think you can do the rest of this. I'll give you the answer and see if you could work up to it. So the answer turns out to be pi over 3. I really believe that the setup is the hardest part. We were rotating around the x-axis, so it was a disk. All right, number 2. As I look at the picture, number 2 looks like an upside-down parabola. It's 4 minus x squared. We're going around the x-axis. So it's pi on the outside. A lot of people forget that pi. Don't forget it. And this is going to be from 0 to 2. And now it's just the upside-down parabola, quantity squared, dx. And when the smoke clears, you should get 256 pi over 3. All right? Number 3. So I asked you to do the first 4. Number 3 is another disk, but now we're going from 1 to 4. So that's really the only difference between 1, 2, and 3. This is going 1 to 4. It's a line. It's actually the square root of x. So this one becomes a little easier, because when we square root and square, they undo each other. So you're going to get, I got to put the dx. That's what I want you to do. If I ask you set up, these are all the answers. Then this is 7, I think it's 7 halves pi, or 7 pi over 2. All right. Number 4, once again, a little disk action. And it's a little parabola thing, or half a circle, or quarter of a circle. So we're going around the x-axis, and you see the rectangle is going to the x, so you know it's going to be dx. And this is going from 0 to 3. And the function is the square root function of 9 minus x squared, quantity squared. And then I would get 18 pi as my answer. All right. Continuing with disks. Number 7 now. A little bit different because oh no, it's not. It's still, but now it's the y-axis. So it says y equals x squared, and it's kind of to the y-axis. So I know I need a dy in the answer. So this is what I got so far. The y goes from 0 to 4, but now we have to change this to x equals. So this is just going to be the square root of y squared. All right, and that turns out to be 8 pi. So the deal is, when you're going to the y-axis, or when your rectangle is like this, okay, we're going dy. All right? I'd like to get rid of this box. There it goes. Okay. And then I ask you to do number 8. Number 8, once again, it's a picture. So we're going to the y-axis, and it says y equals that stuff. So I know it's going to be pi. This is going to be from 0 to 4, because we're going dy. But now I have to change this equation, y equals 16 minus x squared. I got to change it to x equals. And it was a square root. So I'm going to square both sides, do y squared minus 16, and now take square root. So that's what this is going to be. Y squared minus 16, square root, and now I'm going to square it. That works out pretty easy, I think, to go ahead and do.
All members of the science department, please report to room S8 at this time.
This is going to be 128 pi over 3 as an answer. Let's go to another page. How do we do a new page? I don't remember. There's an easy way right there. Okay. Number 9, once again, a picture. And the picture is still going to the y-axis, so it's going to be dy, okay? And it gave it to you in y equals x to the 2/3 power. Well, now we're going to have to undo the power, so it'll be x equals y to the 3/2 power. And so it's y to the 3/2 power squared. And when that happens, the 2's will go away, so it'll just be y cubed you'll be working with. And that answer turns out to be pi over 4. Oh, and the limits, by the way, I didn't show you the limits, it's from 0 to 1. And the last one you had to do for disks was number 10. And number 10, for disks, is, you can see by the picture, once again, it's dy, and it's going to be from 1 to 4. Danny, come in. And it gave it to you in x form. So that's fantastic. It said x equals negative y squared plus 4y. So it's negative y squared plus 4y. And now we're going to square that baby. It's dy, because the rectangles are to the, going horizontally, if you will. And this answer, when the smoke clears, and you know what? Hey, you got to FOIL this out and get some, and do it up. You're going to get 153 pi over 5. If you are just taking my word for the answer, you're not doing a good job. You need to work these out. You need to go for it. Those were all the homework for discs. Now I want to do the homework for the washers. I had some for the washers you wanted to see. So the washers were number 5. So if I look at number 5, it's another picture, and that turns out to be the first. There's 2 graphs there, and it looks like this, okay? And the 2 graphs are x squared, and then you have another one that's x to the 5th. And it's between 0 and 1 going around this axis. So in discs, or washers, like I said, if you take a half, you put it into squared and you put it into 5th, actually squared is larger, okay? So what it's going to be is it's going to be the top graph, this is from 0 to 1, the top graph, which is x squared, minus the bottom graph, which is 0, or the line that we're going over, and then it's minus the bottom one, which is x to the 5th, minus 0, whatever line we're going over, dx. The zeros don't even need to be there, so it would be x squared squared, x to the 5th squared, and you would take the integral. When that happens, I got to look for my answers. Don't know where they are, but you should get something exciting. All right, you're going to get a little something crazy, I think. I think you're going to get something like, I don't know. Oh, here it is. You're going to get 6 pi over, I got 6 pi, I think, over 55. So make sure you can get that. Like I said, the setup is the most important. The next one was number, I believe, 6. So here's 6. There was also a picture with a washer, and the washer looked like this. Looked like, here's the axis, and here's what we have. So we're going over this guy. All right. The equations were 2, and the other equation was 4 minus x squared over 4. So this is 2, and this is probably the other one. This is probably that one. So if we're going to do a washer, first I saw it was from -3 to 3. That was easy to see from the picture. And now it's going to be top minus line. So top minus the line. Okay. Then minus the bottom one minus the line. 2 minus 0 squared. That's it. So that actually becomes just 4 over there. When the smoke clears on this problem, you should get, and it gets a little crazy if you do it without a calculator, but you should get 448 square roots of 2 pi all over 15. All right? So that turns out to be that answer. But like I said, once again, setup most important. 12, 13, and 14, I'll put a new page on here. I'm going to do 12 and 14. 13's in the back of the book. 13's done similarly. Actually, 13 is done a little bit similarly, but 12 has a lot of stuff going on. And it says it's y equals 2x squared, and then it says y equals 0, and x equals 2. So when I go to graph this, I have some type of parabola going like that. The y equals 0 is right here, and x equals 2 is right here. So this is what we're looking at. Because it has to tell you where to bind it. It could bind it over here. Who knows? All right, so this is 0, that's 2, and actually this is 8. It goes 8 high. How do I know it goes 8 high? Well, if I plug 2 into here, I know it goes 8 high. So now I can do all these problems, and I'm just going to set them up and give you answers like I've been doing. For A, it wants to revolve around the y-axis. So what's going to happen is I know it's dy. I might need a little bit more room here. So I know it's dy because it's going around the y-axis. I know my limits are from 0 to 8. And now it's going to be, if I'm right, let me look at my answers here. Oh, man. I lost my answers. That's okay. All right. So what it's going to be is it's going to be 2 minus 0 squared. All right. So it's going to be 2, the rightmost minus the line, 0 squared, minus the graph, which is 2x squared. Actually, I got to change it to y, right? I got to change it to x, so that's going to be y over 2 square roots. So it's going to be, that's what is x, because I have to get x equals if I'm doing dy. So it's going to be this minus 0, I believe. So it's going to be this squared, y over 2, It's going to be this minus 0 quantity squared. And that's all dy. So what's going to happen, oh, I tried to erase that and put it over here. All right, so then this setup is just 4 minus y over 2 after the smoke clears. That answer you get should be 16 pi. Now, that's part A. Part B asks you to go along, let me look. Part B says the x-axis. So part B means I'm going this way. So that's a disk, all right? So it's just going to be, I'm going to x-axis, so it's going to be 0 to 2. The pi is here, and it's going to be just the function. So the function is 2x squared, quantity squared, dx. When the smoke clears on that part B, you're going to get 128 pi over 5. Okay? Part C, I'll do in black. Part C says we're going around the line x equals 3. Well, x equals 3 is here. So now we're going to go around that line. So if I'm right, my bad, it's not that at all. It's going to be, let me see if I can erase that. It's going to be the line x equals 8. So that's going to be okay because it's going to be a washer. And it's going to be 8 minus 0 squared, then minus 8 minus the function squared. So it's going to be from 0 to 8. And it's going x version, so it's going to be 8 minus 0 squared minus 8 minus the function 2, I guess it was 2x squared, okay, dx. When that smoke clears, you'll get 896 pi over 15. One more part, number 12, and I think I'm going to kind of be out of time here. So one more part is going to be D. We're going to go over the line x equals 2. So x equals 2 is here, and now we're going to get somewhat of a disk, but it's in the y direction. So it's going to be pi in front dy. Along that line, it's going to be just, if I'm right, it's going to be that 2 minus 0. 2 minus 0 squared. Well, no, my bad. It's not a washer, it's a disk. So it's going to be 2 minus the function, square root of y over 2. That's the square root of all of that, squared. And that's going from 0 to 8 once again. It's in the y direction. 16 pi over 3 is what your answer should be. All right, how did I get 2 minus that? Remember, it's a disk, so it's just 2 minus whatever that is. I hope I helped you. These are them worked out. You're going to have to look at 13 and 14 yourself. So thanks.